I'm Steve, the service manager here at Good Sense RV and Motors in Albuquerque, New Mexico. First off, I want to congratulate you on the purchase of your new motorhome. I'm going to be going over your unit with you today. Let's go ahead and get started. First off, we're going to start with your generator, which is in this first compartment right here. Okay? If you take a look down here, you actually got some knobs here that you turn those to open and pop right off. All right, right here is going to be your yellow cap where you're going to check your oil and fill your oil levels. Keep in mind, you do have a little breaker down here that if the generator's not powering your unit, check that breaker, make sure it's turned on properly. On these units, you do have an elevation setting, okay? If you're traveling different states, it's not running properly, check your elevations, make sure that it's set properly. That'll definitely help your generator get full power. Now, when you start your generator, out here you have a switch, it says stop prime. You want to hold that down for 5 to 8 seconds. What it does is it pumps gas to the generator. Then you hit the start button, helps it start up a lot quicker and easier. All right. Go ahead and snap that back on. Fantastic. Let's move on to the propane system. Right here, you do have a hatch that says propane on it. If you take a look in here, here's your valve to turn on and off the propane. It does tell you open and close, so you know which way to turn it. You do have a gauge that tells you how much propane is in your tank. All right. Let's go ahead and move on to here. Now we're going to go ahead and move on to the draining of your unit. Okay. If you take a look right under here, you do have the connection for your hose to hook up to. Pop this open, and if you notice, you have a gray and a black tank valve in here. Now the black tank has bigger piping, you notice, okay? Your smaller piping is your gray tank. Whenever you drain this, you want to make sure and pull the septic first, never together. All right, pull the septic, let it drain. Once it is drained, close it, then you pull the gray. That's going to go ahead and flush out any extra septic that's in here and clean it out a little bit, okay? Never together, because what will happen is that septic can go up into your gray tank and you'll really have a stinky mess. All right, so keep that in mind whenever you hook that up. You do have a flush here for your septic tank also. If you're going to utilize that with a hose, you hook it right into here. There is a connection there. Make sure your valve is open before turning the water pressure on, and then you can control the valve with how much goes in and out of the tank. All right. Of course, your gas tank fills up there. Right here is going to be where your power cord is. Now, you do have a 30 amp power connection that goes into here. Keep in mind, if you buy an adapter to hook to your house, you can run everything on your unit except your air conditioner, okay? That will pop breakers and it'll start popping them in your house. So you don't want to run your AC if you're stepping down to a 110 plug, okay? If you have a 30 amp plug, you're good to go. Right here is going to be your freshwater intake. You will put your hose in there and fill it up. Now, keep in mind, you want to keep the pressure somewhat low, because what will happen is the air pressure will build up and it'll burp back at you. That happens. People think their tanks are full. They're really not full, and they drive off and they wonder why they have no water, okay? Nice and low. Pay attention to your monitors and fill your tank up to your desired fill. Right down here is going to be your city water connection. You would hook that up at an RV park or anything like that, okay? Whenever you do utilize this, you want to use a water pressure regulator. These RV parks can get up to 125 psi's. These things can only take about 40 psi's. You will definitely blow those lines up. So water pressure regulator, and I recommend getting the brass ones. I'm not a fan of the plastic ones. All right. Great thing about this unit that I love, if you open this up, you've got a storage that goes all the way across with 3 access doors. Okay, you also have a drain in case you do get water in here. You can pop that drain and drain out any water so you don't keep moisture in here. Great feature to this RV. All right, now another great feature is you have a spare tire that your crank to crank it up and down is right here. And you would just crank that tire down, you'd be able to utilize it and do what you need to do. You also have a 7-way already set up and a hitch so you can tow something behind you. All right. Of course, this is your hatch to your compartment in the back. Now right here you have a sewer hose compartment. You can throw it in there and store it in there. We went ahead and left it. It came with the unit. You're more than welcome to utilize it. Now right here is going to be your furnace, all right? Now if you notice, you got some exhaust right here. All right, now what you want to make sure and do, people like to put the little screens on there to keep rodents and bugs and stuff like that out, which is great when you're storing the unit. When you're going to use this furnace though, you want to remove those. I know it doesn't look like it, but it restricts the flow of air by 50%. So you definitely want to take those off. Do not stand in front of these. Do not put nothing in front of these. You want the airflow to go in and out perfectly. You do have some outdoor plugs here, all right? And then your water heater. I'm gonna pop open your water heater and take a look at it. Now, if you notice, you do have a board here, and on that board is a little fuse. That is one of the first things for you to check. If you do have any issues with that, check that fuse. Make sure that's working properly. Once you go from there, you can go through and check your temp sensors and stuff like that. And if that's something that's a little over your head, feel free to call a technician to come out and help you with it. We've got another storage right here. Now, if you notice, you got your crank right here for the spare tire, and you do have a tire iron. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and move into the unit. Now, the first thing I'm gonna show you is gonna be your battery disconnect switch. So right down here, you do have a battery disconnect switch on and off. Now, whenever you're storing the unit, you would turn it to off. In order for your 12-volt system to work properly, you want to leave it to on when you're using the unit. You do have a solar system on this. This is going to be your controller for that, okay? As you notice, you're getting voltage off of the solar panels. It's working properly. Now, your switch for your awning is right here. You would go ahead and hold it down to extend, and that'll go ahead and push your awning right out for you. There you go, and your awning is out and you're ready to sit out and enjoy it. Fantastic. We'll go ahead and leave that out for the moment. Now go ahead and step on in. What we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to look at the control panel first off. All right, if you notice right here is your main control panel. Now you do have your slide in and out button. Now keep in mind, in order to push the slide out, what you're going to have to do is have the keys in the ignition and it started, or an accessory. Always keep in mind that you need your emergency brake in for the slide to go out too. Let's go ahead and push that out. And there you go. It makes plenty of room in here to enjoy yourself. All right. Now right here is going to be your water heater switches. You do have electric and you do have gas. Now the electric only works when you're plugged in to power or your generator's running. Your gas will work as long as your 12-volt system is turned on and you got full batteries with the solar system. You shouldn't have any problems with a low battery. All right. You also have a water pump switch, an Arctic pack switch, which actually has heaters on your tanks to keep them warm when you're in cold environments. All right. And then of course your living room lights and your kitchen lights. All right. You do have a meter to tell you how your battery is doing. Now right up here again is going to be a start, stop, and prime. That is going to be your generator start and stop buttons, okay? Remember, you hold the stop and prime button for 5 to 8 seconds and then you start the unit up, all right? Now to check your systems, you see fresh, black, and gray, and LP. You can click on that and you notice your LP is full, all right? Fresh water is empty. And that's how you check your systems there. Your lights will light up and they'll tell you how full and everything is. All right, fantastic. Let's go ahead and move on to the kitchen. Now, if you go ahead and take a look, you got a fancy new type of stove. These things are just coming out. And what I like about them is, first off, you got some cool lights on them. And the other cool thing that I really liked about this unit is whenever you're utilizing the oven, before you used to have to hold your pilot button down, light the pilot, get it lit, and then you can utilize it. This one actually has a sparker that goes to your oven, and it'll actually light your oven, or you can light your burners, and all you do is turn on the burner, turn it, and it'll spark it right up. It's a great feature that they're coming out with on these units, and I'm excited for these stoves. Basic microwave, ventilation light and hood. Okay, now we're going to move on to your fridge. All right, if you take a look, you got an on-off button up here, an auto and a gas and a check light, okay? What you would do is you would turn that on, and if you wanted it to be on auto, you can put the auto button on. And what the auto is gonna do is if you have power plugged in, it'll automatically go to electric. If the power gets cut, it automatically switches to propane. It will look for electricity first, but if it doesn't find it, secondary is gonna be propane. That's a great feature. Now, if you don't want it to look for electric, you can go ahead and hit the button on gas. And what will happen is if that check light does not come on, you're good to go. If that check light comes on, check your propane, make sure your valves are open, see what's going on. All right, pretty basic. Now, whenever you load these refrigerators, what you want to make sure is that you get the food cold in your fridge at home first. Then you transfer it in here cold already. All right, what's gonna happen is if you put hot sodas in here, your fridge is never gonna get cold. It's never gonna cool it down. So keep in mind what you wanna go ahead and do is cool everything down, your freezer too. I like to freeze everything, and then what I do is I even put a bag of ice in there to help the freezer out. And I have ice creams and everything when I travel on my fridge. All right, so just keep that in mind whenever you're loading the refrigerators. Let's go ahead and move into the bathroom. Okay, first thing I'm going to show you in the bathroom is going to be this GFI plug right here. Now, this GFI plug is actually connected to the kitchen and outdoor plugs. So if your power ever goes out in the kitchen or outside, come check this first before you start messing with any other breakers and before you get a technician out here. All right, you do have two switches here. One is going to be for your lights, and you actually have one that goes to your fan up top. And you notice I hit the switch, it kicked right on. All right. Now you do have a shower head here. Turn your valves on down there, but you do have a switch on your shower head right there. So if you go to utilize it and it's not putting water out, hit that switch. That switch could be what's this turned it off. All right, fantastic. Let's go ahead and move into the bedroom here because I am going to show you on this side right over here. Right down here is going to be where your fuse box is. All right, you take a look, there's your breakers and your fuses. That's where you're gonna check them, all right? You do have a plug over on that side, two USB plugs also. Plug and you're set up for a TV to be installed on this side over here. Generally, they do put a backing board so you can put a TV mount there and have a nice TV sitting up there, all right? Right down here is gonna be your thermostat. If you notice, you got cool, dry, heat, and fan. Those are the modes. You would hit mode button. You also have auto, high, medium, and low. Keep in mind, if you put it on high, medium, or low, your units are going to constantly run. You want to put it on auto if you want to set a desired temperature and for it to shut on and off. So whenever you're utilizing that, check that out. You also do have a timer which will shut off the unit after so long if you want to set a timer, to fall asleep or something like that. All right, so let's go ahead and make our way back out. We're going to take a look under the hood and I'm going to show you where to check your fluids. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take a look. You got washer fluid here. Now here's where you're going to put your oil in. Alright, make sure you use 5W30. Use what is recommended for the unit. You do have a transmission dipstick right here, so you can check that fluid. Now I'm going to show you where the oil dipstick is. It is a little hard to see, but if you can take a look, there is a yellow handle right down there, and that is going to be where you're going to check the oil. You pull that dipstick up and you can take a look at the oil down there. All right, and of course you got your antifreeze fill and everything right here. Now there's one last thing I want to make sure and show you. It's going to be inside the cab right here. Now say your chassis battery dies on you. What you want to do is you can utilize your coach batteries to start your chassis to get you out of a pinch. There is a button right down here at the bottom of the seat that has a battery on it. You would push and hold that down as you turn the ignition on. And that's how you'd utilize that, and you'd be able to start this unit up if you have a dead battery. Well, that is pretty much everything on your RV. I want to say again, congratulations. Thank you for coming to Good Sense RV. If you do have any questions, we're here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, 505-300-4100, and we're here to help. Congratulations and have a great day.